Hi to everyone. Lovely to see you all. I'm really surprised how many people are online. I mean, we're still in August. We're not even in September. And I'm sure that a lot of you are really, really tired of technology as well. I'm going to ask you a quick question. I know Derek's just asked you a few. So really, just really quickly, just tell me, because it's always interesting in terms of teaching online, what room are you sitting in at the moment? I'm actually sitting in my bedroom, actually, today, just because I've got my wife working in another room and we need space. Tell me where you're sitting. Are you on your balcony? Are you outside? Are you in the bedroom? Are you in your office? We've got lots of living rooms. We've got a few kitchens. We got a bedroom. We got a living room. We got the spare room. We got anyone on the balcony? We got someone's in the garden. Someone's in the cafe. Someone's in the kitchen. Lots of living rooms. We've got a few kitchens, bedrooms. Got someone else who's in the bedroom. All right, it always makes me laugh the way that people are just sitting in these places that really often are not conducive to language learning when we're teaching our classes. One final question. Name two things you can see in front of you. So I can see I've got it's a lovely lamp that my wife's bought here on the left-hand side. And I've also got my computer printer on the right here. So those are the two things that I can see in front. Just name me two things. I just want to get someone can see their mother. Good. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a cough. Right, computers. We've got a few computers, sofas. We've got a cat. Someone's got a television in front of them. Bulletin board. We've got a few cats around. We've got a few dogs around. Okay, brilliant, lovely. Okay, lovely. Lovely to meet you all. Let's get started. We've got a lot to get through today. I'm going to try to make the session as someone's lovely answers. Great, wonderful. So let's start by doing a quick activity together, okay? Just to kind of get to know you all and a little understand. I'm gonna set up a really quick activity which could be great for hybrid teaching. Okay, and in this activity, I'm going to show you a super easy technology that I often use when I'm doing a session and I want to quickly get everybody's ideas together. So I'm going to do a screen share, and when I do the screen share, I'll turn off my webcam, because just a little tip for you when you're teaching, turn your webcam off when you're doing screen share, because it will make the screen share work better. So I'm turning off the webcam and I'm just going to jump over to the internet. Okay, and I'm going to just jump over to here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go onto a website called AnswerGarden. I'll share the link in the chat window with you in a minute. And all I do, really simple, I just click on this button here. And I'm going to write a question, and I'm going to ask you, write one word to describe how you feel about using technology in your teaching. Okay, technology, that'll do. Okay, one word, technology. I better spell it correctly since we are mainly talking to English teachers. Okay, I just write the question, nothing else. So easy. I want one word from you. Okay, and I'm just going to change this to give you up to 40 characters. Very easy technology, this. And then I'm just going to click on create. And that's it. Now, all I need to do now is share that link with you. Now, if I was doing a hybrid class, if my students in the class, if some of them have got telephones, they can log in with their phones, and the students at home can log in. Obviously, you share the link with them. So what we're trying to do here is get all the students to do the same activity. And all you need to do, guys, is write your answer. So how do I feel about technology? I'm going to write challenging. Okay, that's the word that I'm going to use. I want to collect all your words together. Immediately, that word will appear on the screen. Okay, so I'm going to share this link with you guys. All right, and I just want you to write the one word. Think of one word that comes to your mind when you're thinking of technology. Now, I could do this in the chat window, but I want to collect all your ideas together in one place. So just click on that link, and I will turn my webcam back on again while I do that. Just click on that link and put your ideas. And then what I would do if I was using a Zoom session or doing a hybrid class is, once I collected all your ideas together, I would then present it, screen share it, so that the people online can see it, and obviously you would project that onto the screen. So when you're doing a hybrid class, you should be projecting what you're doing in the Zoom session on the screen as well, so that the students in the class can see it and the students at home can see it. Okay, Victoria's written the word stress. Someone's written extremely confident. Put it in the answer garden, not in the chat window. Okay, I'll share the link again with you guys. Okay, I'd love to see, because what I want to do is I want to collect all the ideas together. Now I'm going to just jump over and have a quick look and see what you're doing. Okay, so if I jump over and just refresh my screen, I'm hoping that you've all been writing in the screen. Wow, amazing. I can see hundreds of answers. So I'm going to quickly show you what we've done. So remember, if you was doing this in a Zoom session, in a hybrid class, what you would do is share the link so students could access it on their phone in the class, if possible. And for those students that are at home, they can just access it on their computer. But what you want to do afterwards is screen share. So let me, again, turn off my computer, turn on the screen share, and let's have a look at what you've written. Okay, so now we've got loads of words on the screen. Really interesting. Look, I've got here awesome, excited, helpful, comfortable, confusing, confused, excited, motivated, confident, innovative, apprehensive, challenging, amazing, dynamic, educational. What a brilliant collection of words. Yeah. Now I could do a little activity with this, couldn't I? I could say to students, right, choose your favorite 5. Okay, which ones do you? Look at all these words here, or choose 5 words, or tell me 5 words that you don't understand in groups. Yeah, perhaps, or get them to do some type of activity to work with this. Okay, but what you've done here, and the lovely thing about this as well, is afterwards, if you want to, you can come here and export that as an image, so that then you could save it. So you've collected together in just a couple of seconds everybody's ideas using a super easy technology called AnswerGarden. Notice I didn't need my students even to log in. Now there are some things that you can do with this technology if you want to make it kind of a little bit more secure. Okay, I did it very openly. You can actually, when you make an AnswerGarden, set the AnswerGarden as moderate, and then you can quickly see all the words, and you would have to click on them and say yes, 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 yes. That way, if anyone wrote something bad, it wouldn't appear on the screen. Okay, just to share this link in the screen with you. So hang on a minute, let me just close that down. I'm not sure what happened. I'm just going to copy that link. Okay, copy that link there, and just to show you again how I did it, I just clicked on that button. That was all I did. And then I wrote the question here, and then you've got a couple of interesting settings. Okay, notice, see, moderator. If you click on moderator, everything appears on the screen to you, and you just click on the words to say yes, and then they appear for everybody else as well. So I'm going to stop sharing and share that in the window. Okay, there it is, AnswerGarden. This is a really nice technology to think about using. I love using it at the beginning of a session, okay, to kind of collect everyone's ideas together. And it's the sort of technology that you could use in a hybrid class if your students in the class have got access to their telephones, because they can just log in on their telephones and answer with their telephones. All right, so that's one idea for you. And I'm going to jump in just really quickly to a little presentation that I've produced for you for today. Okay, so just to make it really clear, let me just open this up, and then we'll get straight into the next technology. We're going to try to make these sessions as active as possible. Okay, so we're key tools and approaches to hybrid learning. And I know, really interesting, that Macmillan had done a piece of research around looking at the challenges that students, or particularly teachers, are having when it comes to using technology, and particularly hybrid teaching. And that's what we're going to focus on today. And a couple of the things that teachers feel. So this is great, because this is a research from all around the world. And a couple of things that they come up with is that teachers feel that adjusting to hybrid can take a long time. They worried that the students at home won't participate, and this is a problem. Okay, I'm not saying that hybrid is easy, because it really isn't easy, and in 1 hour I can only help you a little bit. But what we want to try to do is to try to work out a way of getting more participation, okay? Technical issues are always a problem. There's nothing I can do about that. The technologies I'm going to show you today generally are very easy to use and not too demanding. I'm going to show you one idea that is a little bit internet heavy, but for example, the first tool that I've showed you there, AnswerGarden, that is super easy and it will run on even on a very light internet connection. And then, you know, trying to the whole problem, you're all having problems, or people are really concerned about engagement. That report from Macmillan, really useful, really helpful, and this is how we've decided to focus today's session, to show you a few tools and ideas that will help you a little bit when you're doing your hybrid classes. And I'll also try to have time at the end for a few a few questions from you. Now, I'm going to confess something. I've never taught hybrid. However, I have worked with many teachers helping them to teach hybrid, and I've watched their classes and given them some advice, etc. But I've never actually taught hybrid. I've never been in that situation, though I've been doing a lot of work this year with teachers working in hybrid classes. One of the basic principles that we want to get to, and we're going to move straight into an activity in a moment, but one of the basic principles that we could try to do, is it possible? Is it possible the students in class and the students at home doing the same activity? Now, when you're presenting, there's no problem. You're presenting language, you've got your students in class, and hopefully your students are following you on Zoom or on Microsoft Teams. So when you present, or when you play a video, or when you do anything on a kind of teacher-led area, there's no problem. The problems begin when you then set up an activity. And sometimes it's not possible to get the students to all do the same activity. But if you can get your students to bring their mobiles in, then it is possible to do activities where we get the students to work together on the same activity. And I'm going to show you some ideas. Now, these ideas will also work in fully online or in a blended class as well, okay? But obviously what we're thinking about is the idea of a hybrid class. So one thing to think about when you're doing hybrid, first of all, remember what you want to do is you're presenting on Zoom, but you're also projecting the Zoom screen so that the students in the class can see as you're presenting as well. I know that they're in the room with you, but they can also watch on the screen. And therefore, when you set up an activity or you play a video, they can see it and the people at home can see it. And when you set up an activity to do, particularly the ones I'm going to show you now, what we really want is the students in the classroom on their mobile phones or on their computers, if possible, to do the activity. Now, they don't have to do it in groups. They could be doing it, individually. They could be doing it in groups. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by showing you, and I know some of you will know this technology, but I'll try to show you some nice ideas. The most popular technology on my website in 2020, and one that works well in a hybrid class if the students in the class have got access to mobiles, is Wordwall. And I'm going to show you Wordwall. And if you do know it, I'm hoping that I'm going to kind of show you a couple of really interesting things about working with Wordwall. So let's jump over to Wordwall, and then we're going to do a couple of activities with Wordwall, and you'll just see what a brilliant technology this is. I think at the moment, this is probably the outstanding technology on the internet in terms of the kind of activities that you can do with it, okay? Because it really is, what's brilliant about Wordwall is that you've got 36 different games in one place. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just show you a couple, then we'll talk about how you could use this in hybrid. So I'll do something really easy, okay, to start with. So what I'm going to do is I've got one here, a very simple one. So this is just one of 36 games. This first one is what I'm also going to do, actually, I'll make sure that I've got the sound on, because the sound effects are really quite funky on these sites as well. So let's just make sure. So I'm going to start by doing this one. Just going to, and all I want you to do in this activity. So let's imagine that we've watched a video or we've done a presentation about adverbs, and now we want to check to the students, do they understand from the most frequent to the least frequent? So in this activity, all I want you to do is write always, and then it's going to be very often, and it's going to be often, and it's going to be sometimes, and then it's going to, oh no, sorry, it's going to be occasionally, sometimes, occasionally, then it's going to be rarely, and then very rarely, and then never. Okay, and then immediately you can submit your answers. The students get immediate feedback, and you get immediate feedback, which I'll show you in a minute. Now, the reason I'm showing you this technology is because it's an easy one to set up so that the students in the class and the students outside of the class are accessing the same content. Okay, so it is possible. Again, you do need the students to have a mobile or a computer in class. One computer, 2, 3 students working together will work fine, but it means that you can do the same activity. Now, I'm going to get you to do this activity, and you'll see how easy it is to do this. I click on share. Okay, so I'm going to click on the share button. I click on set assignment, click on start, nothing else. Copy the link. Okay, so I can copy that link. So I'm just going to click on that, copy there, and now I'm just going to quickly jump back, and just to give you a feeling of this, I'm going to click on stop share. I'm going to share this in the window. Okay, and you can just, I'd like you to do this activity. When you finish, can you just write in the window done, so that I know that you've done that activity. In 2020, when I presented Wordwall online and I made a video about it, I'm not joking, maybe in the first day I had 2,000 or 3,000 plays of the video in one day, and I had hundreds of teachers emailing me saying, Russell, this is incredible, this is what I need, I'm teaching online, this is going to save me 36 games, one website. So it really is a lovely website and so easy to use, really quick, and it is a possibility to use this in your class. In other words, you're doing a lesson. God, someone's really fast there. Okay, brilliant. Really quick activity. If you are kind of can get some of your students, you don't need everyone, some of your students to access the presentation using their mobile phones, because they can access the activities on their mobiles. Okay, lovely to see lots of you have done this activity. We'll look at this carefully, all right, because it's really worth looking at this technology. It's become very quickly one of the most popular technologies on the internet for practicing and interacting with students, creating lots of engagement, lots of activities. Now, you can use this in class as well. You can use this for homework. It works in a hybrid class because the students can access from their mobile. So you could be doing a presentation. Maybe you've watched a video. Now you're checking their understanding. You share the link with the students on the Zoom session, and the students in the class can also log in using their mobiles. It works on a mobile phone. Okay, well done. I can see loads of you have done this activity already. I can see you're all writing done. Thank you. Okay, that is a problem. I do realize for some of you, and we will talk a little bit about that at the end, it's very difficult if the students haven't got access to a mobile. You wouldn't be able to do this in the same way. If that was the case, you would have to then present the screen. The students at home could do the activity all on their own. The students in the class you would have to do it as a teacher-led activity, or invite one of the students to come up to the computer and do the activity. Okay, if you haven't got access to mobiles or computers in the class, you would have to get one of your students or the students to call out and tell you, okay, first, second, third. Okay, so there are ways around it. The secret that you want is to make sure that everyone's doing the same activity. Now, let's have a quick look at what you've done, and we're going to try and do in a minute something a little bit more interesting. Okay, but it's a wonderful activity. What website? So we're just going to come back here. I'm going to click up here. Okay, let me just see if I can click up here on my results. Okay. And if I scroll down, you can see how much I'm using this technology, by the way. Look at this. I'm just using it all the time. It really is so useful. I don't think there's a technology that I'm making more use of in all my teacher training courses, my master's degree course, the flipped classroom courses, the courses I run. I'm doing it all the time. Okay. Now, I've only got so far. Let me just refresh the screen. Okay, let me just have a quick look there. Okay, so I can come down and what you can do very easily is that you can click, okay, and you can just see the results. So you can just sort of click on any, and I'll just jump on an activity and just to show you. Immediately, I get the results of what the students have done, whether they made any mistakes or got any right. It gives me immediate feedback. I can even look down at a breakdown. So you get these results that are so useful to you if you're trying to check, did they understand what I'm going to say? Now, I'll show you something else as well about these results before I quickly close. Sometimes when I've done this, I've been using this activity with hundreds of teachers or hundreds of students at the same time. Look at that, 266, and it worked absolutely fine. So it's a really nice technology if you're kind of working with big groups of students as well. Let's go back and just have a look at it. I'm going to click on my activities. And let's just have a look at one more so you kind of get an idea, and then I might just try and show you something a bit more interesting. So what I've got here, this one's going to be a bit more tricky for you. I'm going to click on this one here. So it can be match activities, it can be, there's 36 games. In this activity, what you've got to do is to write the correct building. Okay, so for example, if we look at the first one here, which is the Parthenon, then I've got to look and see, okay, and drag the correct wording. So the next one is the Leaning Tower of Pisa. So then I've got to look for that one and drag it in. The next one, Big Ben. Well, that's actually correct. Next one, Sagrada Familia. That's that cathedral designed by Gaudi in, okay. And this one here, you're dragging the words in. Now, what I want to show you just before we start is, let me show you how I made it. I want to just show you how quick this is to do. If I click on edit content, all I did was write the name, a definition, and the place. Definition and a place. Definition. It took me just a few minutes. I just wrote the definition and a place. Definition. So this could be anything: beginning of a sentence, end of a sentence, word plus definition, first part of a word, you know, like for example, it might be a phrase. It could be anything, expressions in English, and then the students have to match them together. And I can just add an item by clicking here. It took me literally just a couple of minutes, write out the sentences, click on the done button, and the game is ready to use with the students. And then all I do is click on share, click on set assignment, click on start, and then share that link, copy that link, and then the students can access the activity. So I'm going to get you to do this one as well. So I'm just going to click on stop share. And yeah, I'm going to paste that into the screen and just give you the same thing again. If everyone can just do that activity, this one's a little bit tougher, and then I'm going to show you something even more interesting. Okay, but what I'm just trying to show you some of the possibilities and how quick this is and how engaging it can be for your students. Okay, to check understanding. Now, what we would do if we had a class and the class didn't have technology is we would play the game in Zoom for those students. So the people at home can click on the link and do the activity. The people in the class, we would have to play the game with them. And we would either run it ourselves as the teacher at the front. So we would open the game up and actually play it with them, or maybe get one of the students to come up and act as the teacher. And then with the help of the students in the class, get the students to shout out and suggest ideas, and then the teacher, the person at the front, to do the activity. So you could do this activity because essentially what you want to do is get both the students at home and the students in the class doing the same thing. And when would you use this activity? Well, it's for checking understanding. It's for formative assessment. So it's after you've presented something, after you've watched a video, after you've done a presentation, after you've done a listening, after the students have done a reading activity. Okay, so what you're doing here is using it as basically an alternative to doing an exercise with your students in the class. But the lovely thing is that so many different activities, okay, in the web on the website. 36 different games. Okay, I can see some of you have already done it. I know this one was a little bit more difficult. I wanted to make it more difficult because I wanted to show you just how engaging these games are. And there's so many of them. There's so many different types of games that we can play. Grouping words, matching words, dragging words in. There's all the types of crossword type activities as well. I like a lot of the kind of grouping activities and dragging activities. Okay. Now, while people are just finishing, I'm just going to say one more thing. We're going to try one more activity in a minute with this. That's something just to show you a little bit more of what you could do to make it really more interesting and help you to understand a hybrid class. But one thing, this technology, and please listen carefully now, this technology is free for up to 5 games. You can have 5 games on a free connection, okay, free on a free plan. But this is the brilliant news. You can edit and change those games and change the content in them as many times as you like. So I could change all of the content and use it with exactly the same students. Okay, so sorry, with a different group of students. So you are able to just edit the content. And let's have a quick look. I'm going to jump over. I'm going to come back to that technology. So we're looking at Wordwall. And if I, again, come to my results, I should be able to see, hopefully, that some of you have done that activity. Let's come down to the bottom, okay? At the moment, there's only about 7 of you have done it so far. I was a bit surprised. I was expecting more. But so I get... no, sorry, it's another one that's come up on the screen. Sorry, what I need to do is to click on the results, and it's here where I get the results for that. Sorry, I've got it here. There's 96 of you done it. Sorry. 96 of you have done the activity already. Sorry, I was thinking for a minute. Brilliant. Okay, so I get the results, and I can see, okay, did we have any problems? Do I need to go back over anything? Yes, look, there's a few incorrect. People don't know about the Burj Khalifa, which is the tallest building in the world. Maybe I need to repeat that again. Maybe I need to teach about the Sagrada Familia again, because there's some mistakes. So I get immediate feedback on how my students are doing. So this could be grammar, this could be vocabulary, this could be comprehension. Okay, so really lovely technology to use if you're kind of working in a situation where you want to check the student's understanding of something. So remember, when you work with Wordwall, what you're normally trying to do with Wordwall is check the understanding of the student. So you're meant to be using it after you've done a presentation, after you've watched a video, after you've presented some language, after the students have done a reading. Okay. Now, what I'm going to just do now is I'm just going to click on here. I just want to take you, I'm going to do a little activity with you. Okay. So I'm just going to stop sharing just for 1 second. We're going to start one activity. Okay, so Wordwall, glad that a lot of you are saying, yeah, lovely comment. Great for test, teach, test. Sorry, test, teach, test. I love that technique, by the way. It's something I use a lot. Brilliant. Do a Wordful at the beginning, do a presentation, do another Wordwall. Now, I'm going to show you a little bit. I'm just going to take this a little bit further, okay? Remember what I've said. 5 games for free, but okay, sorry if Google Earth is not working in Turkey, but you'll get the idea that I'm going to use in a minute, okay? 5 games for free, and then you can once you've done your 5 games, you can edit and use them again and again and again and again. You're not restricted. You can't make more than 5 games. You're limited to 5, but all of the games can be edited. Now, I'm going to do a presentation now, a really quick presentation to see if you're really listening to me. This could be a YouTube video. This could be a reading. This could be a listening. I just want you to understand the idea. So I'm going to click on screen share. I'm going to zoom off to Google Earth. It doesn't have to be Google Earth, but I'm just going to do Google Earth today. And I have done this before, but it's a fun activity, and it's one of my favorite ones to do. I'm going to take you off to see my favorite football team. If any one of you saw my last presentation, I must admit I did do this one actually. Okay, but I want to do it again because it really highlights the point. I'm flying you all off to London, and this is Stamford Bridge. This is the home of my football team who won the European Super Cup yesterday, okay? And are currently the European champions. Now, I'm a big Chelsea fan. I first went to Stamford Bridge in 1972. I hope you're listening and taking notes because I'm going to test you in a minute. So I first went to Stamford Bridge in 1972 to see Chelsea. I went there with my brother and my dad. Chelsea won 4-0. And from that day on, basically, I was addicted to Chelsea and I was a Chelsea supporter. Okay. So I have been going to Stamford Bridge since 1972. I'm sure many of you were not even born when I went to Stamford Bridge. So Stamford Bridge is the home of Chelsea Football Club. Chelsea are in London. They are very near to the River Thames. And funny enough, Chelsea, and if I log out a little bit here, and you can see how near to the River Thames Chelsea is. Chelsea actually is not in Chelsea, it's in Fulham. But the trouble is that there was already a football club called Fulham. So they couldn't call themselves Fulham. So they called themselves Chelsea. Now, you might notice there's a museum and there's also 2 hotels all in the stadium. So it's a big stadium. Okay. And it's owned by a Russian oligarch called Roman Abramovich. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click round. Okay, just so you can see a little bit better here. If you can use Google Earth, it's a brilliant tool to use in your presentations. If you're using one of your Macmillan books and they're in Egypt or they're in Thailand, you can take the students off to really see the places. So I often use it when I'm working with my course book, or when I used to work with my course book. I'm not doing any teaching at the moment, and bring the places to life. I take them off to Thailand, take them to where I went on holiday, take them off to a Greek island, okay, etc. Now, what I can do, which is really clever, I can also drop this little man and we're going to take you right down into the football stadium. Okay. And this is where I enter the stadium with my brother. We watch the football together. We come in here and then we walk down here. We normally go for a beer before we actually watch the match. Now, I'm going to check if you've been following me. So that could have been a listening, that could have been a video, that could have been a presentation by the teacher, that could have been a story. In my case, I was using Google Earth to tell a story. That was just the idea. Then I can jump over and I'm going to quickly just click on my activities. And hopefully I've got one here somewhere. Let me just see if I can find it. I've got one about Chelsea. So I'm going to just see all about Chelsea. So I'm going to see if you guys can do this activity. So I'm going to click on share. I'm going to click on set assignment. I'm going to click on start and I'm going to copy that link. And I'm going to see now if you guys have been following me. Now, what I could do, I'm going to stop sharing and just share that link. Okay. So great for listening, great for storytelling. Now, that link, everyone now can click on the link. But for the students in the class, I would actually play the game. So I would open the game up and I would start to play the game with the. And I'd say to the students in the class, okay, maybe I'd put your hands up, tell me the answer. Chelsea's color is, and then get the students to call out. So while the students at home are doing that activity online themselves, the students in the class can be doing it with me, okay? If they haven't got access to the technology, okay? If they haven't got, for example, access to a mobile. So now what you could do to make it more interesting is get the students to come up and they drag the words in, okay? Chelsea was founded in 1905. Okay, Chelsea is a football team in London, etc., etc. So it is possible, if you wanted to be doing the presentation with the students in the class and with the students at home as well, doing that same activity. It's much easier to control everything if the students are doing the same activity, okay? Now, I'm going to just come back and I'm going to stop sharing a minute. I'm just going to come back and see. Don't forget, when you finish, guys, write in the chat window that you're done. And I'm going to be very interested to see whether or not you've been really listening to me, okay? Because you might be that's always one of the problems with teaching online, isn't it? You know, people could be checking their Facebook or something like that. Now, just for 1 second, I'm going to stop talking because I need to drink some of my tea. Obviously, being an Englishman, I've got a cup of tea in front of me. So 1 second. Okay, I'm glad that the activity is nice. Thank you for the lovely comments. Okay, someone said they got it all correct. Well done. I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed. I hope that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Good. There's a few of you that obviously know a little bit about football. This is really interesting to see. Okay, guys, don't forget that didn't have to be Google Earth. That could have been a video from YouTube. That could have been a listening comprehension. It could have been anything. It could have been something out of the book. It could have been the writing activity or a reading activity in the book. But then you're trying to connect it together and check understanding using a technology that you can use both with the students in the class and the students out of the class. So hopefully I'm making myself clear there. Yeah. So that's Wordwall. Let's jump back, guys. All right. Just to the screen share. Okay. Obviously, whenever you're teaching online, there's always a limit to what you can do. It's especially in a hybrid class, it's really, really challenging. So let me just, in fact, let me just submit my answers. So hopefully I got those ones right, but then all the other ones I got wrong. Oh, I got that one wrong even. Yeah, look at that. I can't even answer my own questions. Let's have a quick look now at the results. Okay, so I'm going to click on my results. And if I click here, all about Chelsea, 151 of you have done that activity already. 151. Well done, guys. If I click on it, I can see the results. It's going to take a few seconds to come up. Whoa, very impressed. You really were listening to me. However, there were a few things that I need to explain again. Okay, so I'm just going to go through them. I first went to see Chelsea play in 1972. They played Leeds United. Yeah, I did mention it. I'm a season ticket holder with my brother. Okay, the season ticket holder is someone who has a ticket for the whole year. And I hopefully said at the minute that we were off to Stamford Bridge. That's the name of Chelsea's stadium. It's called Stamford Bridge. And remember, I said there are two hotels next to the stadium, and it's very near to the River Thames. All right. So you see how you could use this then to check understanding, check what your students are doing. Have they understood you? Have they followed you? Okay. Right, let's come back a minute. We haven't really looked much at the presentation, have we? We've kind of been just doing all activities. That's always what happens to me. But Wordwall is certainly an activity that I would really like, okay? And what you saw me do there was to combine Wordwall with Google Earth. Google Earth is completely free. Really worth learning Google Earth. Now, everything I'm going to show you today, I'm going to give you videos on how to use. So at the end, there's a special Macmillan handout that I've made that you can access from me. You just have to email me. I'll give you the email address. You email the address and it will come automatically to you. Okay. So I want to move on to another technology. Remember, what we're trying to do is set up activities that the people in the class and the people at home can all do at the same time. Now, it's perfect if the students in the class have got access to a mobile. If not, you've got to be a bit more inventive. It's not so easy. Okay, but you could do what I've just suggested there, for example. Okay, so I'm going to show you another technology. Now, I know some of you are going to know this technology, but maybe you don't know it like I do. I had to do a review of this technology a little while ago for an organization, and I went into super detail. And whenever I see teachers working with this technology, I always see that they do the same thing. So we're going to try and do something a little bit different, and we're going to have a bit of fun with this technology. And again, this is the sort of technology that we could think about using in the class as well as for homework. All right. So I'm going to just do a new share. And if you don't know Mentimeter, then I think you're going to love this. It's completely free. And I mean completely free. You don't need to actually pay for anything when you're working with Mentimeter. It really is a great tool to use. And all I'm going to do here is I'm going to click on, and we'll have a bit of fun with this because it really is a great activity. I'm going to click on my presentations. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on new presentation. Okay. And I'm going to call this voting on your favorite language. Okay. Now, this again, right, could be anything. Okay, I'm just demoing it. Now, what I'm going to say about this activity is that there is a tendency for teachers to always use the same ones. When you do a Mentimeter, so this is great again for checking understanding, but getting your students engaged, doing an activity for a bit of fun to kind of, did they follow me? So great, for example, if you're telling a story, or great, for example, if you've watched a video or you've done a reading and you want to check their understanding. What we're going to do for this first one, just to make it a bit of fun, is I'm clicking on ranking, and I'm going to say vote on your favorite language. Okay, we're all language teachers, so I guess we're interested in languages, and I'm going to put 5 choices. I'm going to say Spanish, because I guess there's quite a lot of you that are Spanish. I'm also going to say English, because most of you will be absolutely fluent English speakers. I'm going to put Greek, because that was a country that I worked in and a language that I learned to speak. I didn't learn to speak, unfortunately, I only learned a little bit. I'm going to put also Italian. Okay, we'll put Italian in. We'll add another one. I'm going to put French in, and we'll do one more. I'm actually currently in Poland at the moment, and I'm here studying Polish. So I'm going to write Polish in, which I guess most of you won't even know how it sounds, but I want to just say, I want you to choose which one of these is your favorite languages. Now, this could be anything. I could have asked you, put these in order, first to last. Anything like that would work, okay? For example, I might have presented a story. Now, I want you to put the story in order. So first sentence, second sentence, third. Okay, I could do anything like this. Just want to show you how easy this is to do. Now, I'm going to click on share. Okay, and all I need to do now is to copy that link. Okay, and the students can access this. Okay, and again, it could be the same thing. We can share the QR code or even this code so the students can access it on their telephones. All right, I'm going to copy the link, and I'm just going to show you how this activity works. I'm going to jump over to another screen. So let me just jump over. I know you can't see this, just for 1 second. I'm just getting it ready. Okay, so let me screen share now. And just so you can see, I'm going to share the link, and what I want you to do is choose your favorite language. So I'm going to say Polish, because it's the language that I'm currently studying, and so I guess it's got to be my favorite language because I'm spending hours and hours studying this language. It's seriously difficult. I'm going to put Spanish second. I'm going to put French third. I'm going to put Greek fourth. I'm going to put Italian fifth, and I'm going to put English last. And the truth is, actually, I like all of those languages apart from English. Obviously, it's my own language. And then I'm going to click on submit. Now, that vote will come back to me. And if I jump back, so I have to do a new share, I'm going to jump back and show you. And this is what I love about this website. I'm going to jump back. Already, it's telling me the vote. Now, as you vote, I'm going to leave this on the screen. You'll see that it will update automatically as you all vote on your favorite languages. Okay, so this is a great way. As I said, this could have been order the story, first, second, third, fourth, sixth. It could be anything like that. Okay, order, countries, biggest to smallest, that kind of thing. Yeah, it can be anything. Put these things in the correct order. This is the history of such and such a person. Loads of things like that. So I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to share the link into the students. And I just want you, all you need to do is click on that and choose the right, click on that and choose the right, your choices. Okay, so, okay, I'm going to paste that into the screen again. Okay. And just click on the link and do that activity. Okay, just choose in. Now, what I'm going to do so that we can all see what's happening is I'm going to screen share and show you the vote will be changing in front of our eyes as people vote. Look, I can see it now. At the moment, English is the most popular. French is second. Spanish has now moved into second place. Whoa, French has moved into second place. No, Spanish has moved back. No, French has moved back. No, Spanish has moved back. No, French has moved back. Wow, this is a battle between French and Spanish. Which is the most popular language? After English, it seems like you all are English. Spanish has just come back into second. second place. What about Italian, guys? Anyone going to vote for Italy? Okay, so we've got at the moment English first, Spanish second, French third, Italian fourth, Greek fifth, Polish sixth. Is there going to be any more changes? We've got 182 votes, 186 votes coming through. It's still at the moment neck and neck between Spanish and French. It looks like Spanish is coming slightly into the lead now. It's getting more and more popular using Spanish. Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple more minutes. So you see how you could use this. So again, you would have the problem if you've got the students in the class without an internet connection or without a telephone, so they can't vote. What you could do is allow them to come up to your screen and vote on it. And we could actually get the students to come up and queue up and do it individually, because the students at home will be voting. It will take a few minutes. You could get the students, or for example, you could put them into groups and get the group to decide and one person to come to the front of the screen and vote just the way you saw me doing it. Okay, so it looks like, guys, and you can see I'm screen sharing here, that English has come out top. 212 people have voted. Spanish has come second, French is third, Italian fourth, Greek fifth, and Polish sixth. Okay, so this is really, really an interesting technology to use. It's free and it offers you a lot of variety in terms of the types of activities that you can do with your students. Okay, so let me just come back. I'm just going to stop sharing a minute. Okay, really, okay. Okay, it could be done as a group activity, couldn't it? So the students could be working together in a group. Okay, and then what you could do is to get the students, one person from the group, to come to the front and use your computer and put their vote in. So if you've got a student, if you've got students working in groups in the class, you could do that, or you could get them to individually come up. So don't forget, they would come up onto the screen, and all you would do is actually open up the activity so that they could start to do their vote. So you would have to obviously just paste the link in onto your screen, and then the students could come to your screen and they could put their vote in here. Okay, so that is another possibility. Okay, so one person from one group could come up and do their vote, and then the next person from the next group could come up and do their vote. So that would be another way of trying to link the class together. Okay, stop sharing a minute. I'm just going to stop sharing. Okay, guys, just to give me a little bit of feedback in the chat window. Is this all making sense to you? Okay, is this useful? Is this giving you some ideas that you could try out with your class? Okay, lovely. Okay, good. I'm glad that this is useful. Okay, it's very challenging when we're working with a hybrid class, but the basic thing that we can use, the basic thing that we're trying to do, is to make sure that the students in the class and the students out class, if possible, are doing the same thing. And remember, when you're sharing online, so when you're, for example, playing a video or you're doing a presentation, make sure that you project the screen so the students in the class can see through the Zoom screen as well. So if you play a video or you set up a reading, etc. Now, another really good tip, and I know we haven't really talked about this much today, is that if your students have access to the book in the platform version, Macmillan, for example, the books normally have a platform, then you can work with that. We've not focused on that today because I'm not so familiar with the actual Macmillan platform to do that as part of my presentation, but it's definitely a way of thinking of going as well. The basic rule is that you want to try to make sure that everyone in class and everyone outside of class is using the same technology. Okay, so that's really what you're trying to do, and doing the same activity. Let's just quickly try and finish off with one activity, because I do want to have time for questions, and I know Derek wants me to kind of allow time for questions. All right, so if you've got any questions, I think you can probably add them either into the chat window in a minute, and I can see very a few questions coming on the screen. I'm just going to come back to Mentimeter and just spend a little bit of time. So we've looked at 4 technologies today. We've looked at Mentimeter, we've looked at Google Earth, we've looked at AnswerGarden, and we've looked at Wordwall in detail. We've managed to get through 4 technologies. I just want to jump back a little bit to Mentimeter and just go through a couple of things with it, okay? So if I just come out of the full screen, I think I click here to come out, right? And then just come back to where we were on the Mentimeter. Let me just see if I can come back here. I think I need to press on that one, is it? Let me just get it right. Which one do I come out from? That's it. Okay, so just to come back again, all right? If I click on my presentations, so I've just got a free account, nothing special here, and I'm using this really a lot. Lots and lots of presentations that I'm using it for. All you need to do, guys, is to click on new presentation, write the name, okay? Find that I'm just going to do final comments from you, okay? In fact, let's do questions. Maybe some of you might have questions, so that might be interesting questions from you, from audience, okay? Just to sort of show you some of the things that you can do here. Click on create presentation. It creates the presentation, and then you have options here: multiple choice, word cloud, open-ended, Q&A, ranking, which was the one that I did, scale, and then you've got quiz questions for checking answers. So for example, you've done a presentation and you want to check how much the students have followed what you've done, then you could ask quiz questions, and you can actually have up to 3 quiz questions for free. Okay, you don't even have to just have 1. So you can actually add 3 questions and then share. Now, when you do this activity, you know, let me just do one final one just to show you. If I click on Q&A, and I'm going to just say, do you have any questions? Just because I just want to show you how easy this is to do. 1 second, I'm just going to cough. So I'm going to just mute my mic. Sorry, guys, I got a really bad cough, and so at the moment, right? So I can't even moderate these questions, by the way. I'm not going to do that now, but I just want you to see just how easy it is. See, look, I just write here what I want, and then I click on the share button, okay, and then I just copy the link and share that with the students, and then immediately. Now, interesting, you also get a QR code. So if you've got students in class and they've got a fairly modern phone, you can open up the QR code on the screen, and then they can access via their QR code. Or notice that they can access, okay, they can go on and they can do, there's like a code. So they go menti.com and they put in this code, and then they can do that on their telephones. All right, so you have that option as well. So there's lots of different ways that students can access the presentation. And remember, you've got a lot of different types, so Q&A, open-ended, and you can also change it, okay? So we'll do this last one, and we're going to call this flow. So any final questions? I'm just going to copy that link down. All right, so I'm going to, sorry, not copy the link, click on share, and we're going to copy that link. Okay, I'm going to put this in the thing. So I'm going to do stop share, and I'm just going to ask you if you've got any questions or comments. Just click on that Mentimeter and add your question or comment, and we'll give Derek time to ask some questions. And while you're doing that, just add your final comment. One really important thing, and to come back to the presentation. Okay, I know I haven't really made much of the presentation, but really the presentation was just talking through the key technologies that I wanted to focus on today. One really important thing that I have done for you is, I'm going to click here, really important, guys, and I'll leave this on the screen for a couple of moments. So, oh, sorry, that's not where I wanted to go, but let me just jump forward really quickly to where I want to go. Okay, I've done a handout for you. Okay, now all you need to do for the handout is to email me, and I'll put this in the window, russellhandout@gmail.com. Just in the subject, write Macmillan, and then just write, hi, I am blah, blah, blah from blah, blah, blah. Automatically, you will receive a handout. Okay, please, I'll just repeat. This is not my normal email address. This is only for the handout. russellhandout@gmail.com. The subject is Macmillan, as they've sponsored this talk today. Say, I am blah, blah, blah from blah, 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 and automatically you will get the handout. And the handout is videos to show you how to use the different technologies, plus one bonus one that I've put in there, okay, which is another great one for hybrid classes, okay, which I haven't showed you. Now, I didn't do a video for AnswerGarden because it's so simple. You just write the question in. It really is that simple. So I'll leave that up on the screen, okay? If you want that handout, don't forget russellhandout@gmail.com, just subject Macmillan, and hi, I am blah, blah, blah from blah, 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 and automatically you will get that handout. Now, what I'm just going to do really quickly is I'm just going to come out of that presentation and I will add that into that. I'm going to stop sharing. I will write that in the window, okay? Okay, Russell handout. Oh, someone's already done it, been really kind to put it in the window, russellhandout.com. And what I'm going to do, guys, is a just final activity. I'm going to jump back and have a look at see if anyone's been writing any comments to me, anything that they wanted to focus on. So if I just jump back here and I come in to present, I've got lots and lots of things. Great session. Thank you. That's really lovely. Great job. Oh, good. Lovely. It seems like people like it. Can you access these tools through Microsoft Teams? Yes, you can. Is AnswerGarden free? Yes, it is. What's your favorite tool? Wordwall is my favorite tool. Are you sick? I am a little bit ill. Yes. I've got a bit of a cold and cough. What is AnswerGarden about? It's about collecting all the ideas together. It was the one that I did at the beginning. Sorry if you missed it. There is also a Nearpod Learning. There are so many other tools, guys. I just had to focus on ones that I kind of felt were going to be really useful. Look at how brilliant this is. You see, another activity using Mentimeter. I get all your ideas together. Kahoot is wonderful. They're all lovely. How many can I focus on in one thing? Go to my website. They're all on there. Kahoot's on there. AnswerGarden's on there. Nearpod's on there. They're all on there. Okay, well done, guys. I'm going to stop, Derek. There might be a few questions for me, and I can see you're back on the screen, and I'll come back on the screen as well. I hope that was useful, Derek. Gave you a
awesome.
few.
Awesome presentation. Thank you so much for that. Really, really great. Full of energy, full of ideas, and even with your, you're not feeling so well, but you managed to. A lot of love coming in through the chat. Yeah, lots of great feedback there. We had a couple of questions that I was noting as we were going through. Let me just pull these up. So we had a question. The first thing, people were concerned about you turning off your camera. So can you just clarify why you turned off your camera? What's the principle behind that?
Yeah, see, you got two things that take up a lot of internet space.
Right.
One is your camera, and the other one is screen sharing. So if you're screen sharing with your camera on at the same time, then that's even more work. Now,
okay.
Zoom is fairly efficient, but still, if you've got people with slow internet connections, it's a good idea when you're screen sharing, turn your webcam off. That's why I always turn it off. Even if I'm doing it to people who've got super fast internet connections, I know it's got a better chance that it's going to work. Two things take up a lot of space, webcam and screen sharing.
Another question came in from Banu Kutova, who was asking about, I think this was about Wordwall. Can one teacher share the game with another teacher as a template?
I do believe you can now. That's kind of a more advanced feature. I've not really made much use of that, but I do believe now that you can actually access each other's word walls. So if you've made a word wall and that's public, I do believe that other people can access it. I've never actually done it, so I can't 100% guarantee that. I'm not, I don't work for Wordwall or anything. It's just a tool I like. But I think the answer is yes, you can now do that. You can share each other's. So I guess there must be a way of sharing through Wordwall.
Cool. Angelina Capio Reyes asked about an app that can encourage physical movement, if there is one. I think this is quite important, isn't it? You want to get people sat in front of a screen all day, particularly students. You got any ideas about that?
Derek, I haven't. It's not. It really isn't something that I've really thought about enough, and I do agree with that. And it's just the whole problem of how much should we be delivering in a day online. Even, particularly for the teacher. All I can say is the one thing that I do try to do, in terms of kind of engagement, is to make sure that I'm jumping between screen sharing and me on the screen and me off the screen and using the chat and doing an activity. That's the only way that I can understand variety. And it's obviously, if you've got young learners, if you can get them to do activities on screen, that's absolutely brilliant. You could always suggest at the beginning of a lesson, right, guys, let's do a few stretches. You've probably been online for a couple of hours. Why not? It's a good idea to do that.
Some brain breaks.
You know, the key thing is the variety. I tried to show you even at the beginning today that I did a little activity there in the chat window. I often start the sessions like that because I want to tell them, come on, this is going to be active. Get ready. You're not going to be sitting there just watching me all the time. There's going to be a lot of activity. So that's the general message I try to get on. It's a really good point. I don't perfectly know the answer.
Correct. And Tatiana Rapina mentioned at the start about sometimes having mobiles in hand can often ruin the fun of face-to-face teaching. So I think I think maybe I can answer that. I think, and what you've just answered before, you need to mix it up. You're not going to be doing a whole lesson using Mentimeter, for example. It's a tool that you would use at a certain part of the lesson that fits. And then back to heads down, work in the books, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Derek, I mean, you know, I don't know enough about your online product, but I know you've got a platform. I have seen it before. Yeah. That is a brilliant technology to work with. If you can have students accessing the platform, particularly those on the Zoom session can access via the platform, those in the class can use their books. You know, if I am still in the class teaching my students, you would be amazed how little technology I use in a normal class. For me, it's about outside of the lesson. It's the homework, it's the activities. If I've got a normal blended class, I know we're not in that situation at the moment, but if I've got a normal blended class, I'm not using much technology in the class. I totally agree with the person that says, Russell, mobiles in the class slows the lesson down. I would use it sometimes. It can create fun, but generally, no. I'm a big fan of books.
Yeah, cool.
I'm old school.
Good man. And then one more question from Catherine McFarlane. Mentioned, I think we're all really like that Google Earth activity and the Wordwall activity that went with it. I love the idea that you share something about yourself as well. Like we all know a little bit more about you now, and we were put in a situation that you're in. I think that's a really good way to build rapport. So a very exciting activity. But Catherine was also thinking about doing it as a listening activity. Could it be done as a standard listening activity, or do you think it would be maybe too heavy for that?
No, totally. I mean, do you know what? I use Google Earth all the time. You know, I mean, I use it for all sorts of things. You know, I'm using a book and then we're off to the pyramids, or we're out on an island in Thailand, you know. You can just use it for so many things. But what about getting your students to do presentations, which is something that I've done? Okay, so I do the presentation on the first day and introduce myself and say, right, your homework now is to prepare your own presentation. And then in a session, if you're lucky enough to have a fast connection, put them into breakout rooms and get them to present to each other. If they aren't in a fast connection, just get them to present to the rest of the class, because then it's just one person presenting using Google Earth. As much as possible, use Google Earth. I mean, I continually use it when I'm teaching and learning.
I think that's a really important point as well about getting students to do it themselves. Particularly, I mean, in the countries that I work in, so Thailand, Indonesia, Vietnam, Cambodia, these main countries, we're all in lockdown. We're all studying online, completely, fully online. And a lot of students have not even met their friends yet in real life. You know, they've only met them online. So they need to be having ideas where they're sharing information to build that rapport. So great. And then the last question that I'm going to have was, can people contact you? Well, you've sent your email address, so that's already there, and the links to your website and the YouTube channel will be there as well. So are you still there? You've frozen.
So I am still here. Yeah, sorry if I've frozen. I'll turn off my video for a minute. That'll stop me being frozen. Yeah, teachertrainingvideos.com. Obviously, if it's the website to go to if you want to follow my work. That gets more than 1,000 visits a day from teachers, and that connects to the YouTube channel as well.
Yeah, it's fabulous. So I'm gonna let you go now because you're doing the same session in a few hours. So go away and have a rest and rest your voice, and I will see you in a few hours. But for everybody else, so if you want to say goodbye now, you can say goodbye.
Yeah, cheers, Derek. Thanks for being a great host. That was a wonderful session, and thank you for all the lovely comments. I've just looked on Mentimeter. People have written some really nice things. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Russell. Thanks so much, and and look after yourself this afternoon. Everybody else, stay where you are, because I'm going to give you information about certificates. But just to let you know that we at Macmillan Education are ready for any scenario. So whatever your teaching scenario is, I mentioned we are fully online at the moment in Thailand here. At the start of the new term, we are here to help and support you. So all of our courses, or our most popular courses, include full print and digital components for students and teachers. So you're completely covered, whether you're teaching in class, whether you're teaching remotely, or a mix of both. So for extra support with your online teaching, you also have access to our webinar archive. There are blogs as well and how-to videos, plus our friendly customer support team will be available to help with any of your technical inquiries. So you can follow that at the website here on the page, and I'm sure that Dario will pop that into the chat box as well.